Okay. Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Such a beautiful, beautiful evening. So I went to library and I found this such a beautiful book. And this book is written by Christopher Moore and illustrated by Christina Balit. I have seen a lot of the books by Christina Balit, and her painting style is really something that I profoundly admire. You can see a lot of Oriental influence, a lot of it's very much like silk painting, and I just find it's so so beautiful. I'm running out of words. Yeah. So let's take a look at it. It's windy outside and a little bit quite windy. Ishtar and Tammuz. Tammuz. Yeah, there is a lot of books about Tammuz. Yes, a Babylonian myth of the seasons. The Babylonian mythology of seasons. In long ago Babylon, 4,000 years past, Ishtar was worshipped as queen of the stars and the goddesses and the goddess of all creation. No being, nobody, nothing was more beautiful, more powerful, or even more terrible. That's quite a controversial person, right? Ishtar held the power of life and death over all. I mean everything. Yeah, she held the power over everything of life and death. Sometimes she brought storms, hail, and thunder. And she brought all these things down to this world, to earth. And sometimes, in her darker mood, she brought down the terror and destruction of war. Natural disaster and human disaster. Ishtar sent her son Tammuz to live on earth. Tammuz, not Tammuz. Whenever he walked, the earth brought forth fruit and crop and the green of the land. The birds and animals followed the sound of his flute, and they follow for the sheer joy of following him. And the people welcomed him and loved him dearly, lovingly. They called him the Green One. From the heavens above, Ishtar watched her son, and she was very satisfied, content. It's a little bit like Demeter, right? The god of harvest, or in Roman mythology, Ceres. But Ceres, Demeter were female, and Tammuz is male. But as time passed, Ishtar began to feel that Tammuz was adored too much, and that his power was rivaling her own. Oh my goodness, he is jealous for his own son. That is a little bit short-sighted. Her heart hardened, and calling her messengers of war and terror. She called the messengers of war and the messengers of terror. She ordered them to kill Tammuz. That's unbelievable. Mom wants to have son killed. Ishtar's servants struck Tammuz down with their curved swords. The sun hid its face as the young man's blood ran down and seeped into the earth. So Ishtar's servants used a curved knife to attack Tammuz, to attack her son. And the sun hid its face. Even the sun, the soleil, the soul, even the sun cannot see it because it's so cruel. And the young man's blood ran down into the earth. Tammuz descended to the dark underworld. He went to see Hades, or he went to see Persephone, the home of the dead, where Allatu, Ishtar's sister, ruled. Allatu welcomed him with grim pleasure, for she hated her sister who lived in the light of the sun. So Allatu, actually, the Tammuz, the son, was killed by her mom. Her mom conspired to kill him. And he went to the underworld. And in the underworld, he was greeted by his own auntie, his mother's sister. Another twist in this story. The auntie was happy to see the young man coming because he hated her sister. The underworld, goddess of underworld, was actually happy to see because she got a revenge. That's so unbelievable. Because Ishtar, the mother, could enjoy sunshine, and Allatu, she could not enjoy sunshine. She is living in the underworld. See? So, on the upper earth, after the death of Tammuz, all growing things withered and died. The crops and grasses shriveled, leaves curled and fell. The birds fell silent, and the earth grew barren. There is no color. Everything is dying. There is no the green one. With Tammuz gone, a dull sadness came upon the world. As the rivers and springs run dry, hunger and thirst followed. The unhappy people cried out to Ishtar, and as each day passed, their prayers grew more desperate. Their life is miserable, right? The human life is miserable. Finally, Ishtar heard their prayers. When she came down to the earth, she found the trees bare, the meadows without grass or flower, the birds huddled and silent. She saw the sad, tired face of the people and heard their lament. She saw their offerings upon the altar of Tammuz, the cloud of incense, and the uplifted arm of the priestess. So she saw people suffering, and people even in the worst living condition give their contribution, give their sacrifice to Tammuz, to her own son. Ishtar, queen of heaven, cried the priestess, "Be merciful and let Tammuz walk again among us. He is the green spirit of the land, the source of breeze and birth." The priestess set fire to the offerings, and the smoke rose into the sky. So, in a lot of religion, we people give donation, give sacrifice, give offering in the temple or in some sacred place, and then they burn it, because they cannot send the offering to heaven, right? Even if you throw it up, you throw up to the sky, it will fall down because of Newton's theory of gravity, right? So, but people can burn something, and there is smoke, there is incense, there is fogs from the fire coming to the heaven, and that could be used as the messenger. So Ishtar saw this. Ishtar's heart was touched with pity. She spread her robe over the people and whispered into their hearts what she would do. She would go down to the kingdom of Allatu and do battle for Tammuz with her sister. So she is ready to go down to the underworld and to fight with her sister to save Tammuz, to bring Tammuz, her own son, back to life. Drawing on all her strengths and powers, she began to descend to the realm of darkness. As she departed, the upper earth became chill as winter. It was as if love itself had left creation. So the earth was already barren, and now even the sky became cold, became chill, became winter. Down and down Ishtar went, until at last she came to the cold, grim city of the dead with its 7 walls and 7 gates, where her sister ruled. 7. In Greek mythology, no, not Greek, in Egyptian mythology, there is 7. 7 is a magic number. In Chinese, we usually use 9. 9 is the end of the number. After 9, you recycle, go to another digit. So in Chinese, 9 means infinity. 7 means many. Actually, 7 is also a magic number in Chinese. At the sight of his forbidding place, at the sight of this forbidding place, her courage almost failed her. No living things she knew had ever returned from Allatu's realm, but she thought of Tammuz and was filled with the strength of her love for him. A little bit strange, because she, out of jealous, she killed her own son, and now the love for him. Maybe the revival of Mother Nature, right? At the first gate, Ishtar called out to the watchman, "I am Ishtar, queen of the goddess, queen and goddess. Open so I may pass. Open the door so that I may pass." The watchman replied, "Give up your crown, and you may pass. It is Allatu's command." Ishtar was furious, but she had no choice except to obey. At the second gate, she was made to surrender the necklace of bees at her throat, the symbol of her power over the night heavens. At the third gate, she had to give up her pendant, her pendant earring. But she thought still of Tammuz and went on. So she gave up her power she gave up her crown. So she gave up her necklace. She gave up her pendant of earring pendant. When she came to the fourth gate, Ishtar's bracelet of gold were taken from her wrist and ankles. At the fifth gate, she had to surrender the jewel from her breast. At the sixth gate, she put off her girdle of birthstones. At the seventh and last gate, she had to leave her silken crown, silken gown. So she left her silk clothes. As she passed through the gates, one by one, she heard each grim door being shut and bolted behind her. So stripped of all her royal splendor and powers, Ishtar entered the very heart of the citadel. Allatu, goddess of the underworld, half woman, half lioness, sat upon her jeweled throne surrounded by snakes and salamander. She laughed triumphantly to see Ishtar came defenseless before her. Besides the throne, Tammuz sat as if half asleep. So Tammuz was there. Tammuz was sitting there almost half asleep. He did not seem to recognize his mother. Ishtar stood before Allatu and bowed her head. Then she fell on her knees and pleaded with her sister for Tammuz. But Allatu only laughed at her. "Let me at least touch my beloved son," cried Ishtar. "No, no," screamed Allatu in fury. But too late, for Ishtar had leaped past the guardians of the throne to the side of Tammuz. So Ishtar already jumped and went to the side of Tammuz and was embracing her son, the tears streaming from her eyes. Bathed in Ishtar's warm tears, Tammuz felt the waters of life touching him once more. The waters of life. Yeah, this is something that in Middle East, in this area, water is supposed to be or is respected as the best thing, I think. Tammuz felt the waters of life touching him once more. He awoke and clung to his mother so closely that Allatu's guards could not separate them. They were embracing, holding each other so tight, even the guards could not separate them. "Take him," cried Allatu bitterly, "but do not think you have overcome my power. You may both leave my realm, but on one condition: Tammuz must return to me for 6 months each year." Ishtar and Tammuz had to agree. They had to agree. Together they hurried back through the 7 great gates, one by one, Ishtar queenly gone, and jewels were restored to her, until she stood crowned once more. So all the things she has lost, she has given up, coming back to her, outside the realm of the dead. So she could now everything given back to her. Then mother and son climbed through the dark caverns towards the upper earth. When Tammuz stepped out onto the earth above, he kissed the ground for joy. Warmth and new life poured into all creation. Song rose in the throats of the birds, and the animals broke from their deep sleep. From this time on, so it would be each year when Tammuz was summoned back to the underworld, cold winter descended on the land for 6 months. But with his return each spring, nature woke again with joy. The trees felt the pulse of new sap, and every seed in the ground stirred. Among the people, a few liveliness was born. Dance and music filled the houses, and in every farm, village, town, and city, thankful prayers were offered for the return of Ishtar's beloved son, Tammuz. That's the end. This is the ancient Mesopotamia mythology. Thank you very, very much. I love you. I really do. Do. Goodbye. Bye. This makes me think about Persephone's story. Persephone and Demeter. I just feel the mythology is, you get the idea. All the mythologies almost share the same story. How interesting.